Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Chance Ellison. Joining me, Jacob London. No third today. We decided, kick it back for a week. But we are here to talk about, of course, the NFL draft. And God, do we have a lot to say about certain teams. Before we get into that, we do have some things to talk about real quick. First of which, we got to have some people that got paid in the last couple of weeks. Jacob, you want to throw that up? Yeah, first of which, Amon-Ra St. Brown inked a 4-year, $120 million extension with the Detroit Lions. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, dude is he is their best offensive weapon, one of their best players in general. And dude who plays with a real chip on his shoulder. I think Amon-Ra has become like a real fan favorite, not just amongst Lion fans, but just football fans in general over the last few seasons.
Yeah, look, this is well deserved. Amon-Ra has been one of the best wide receivers in the comp, honestly, and honestly, if right now, I think there's a couple of other wide receivers who are sitting there, and a couple other teams are like, God damn it, we needed to get out done before this one got done, and they didn't.
Yeah. So like this, the CD contract, which still needs to get done, and more so,
what are you doing?
The Jefferson contract too. That's gonna hurt.
Well, the Jefferson one, I think, the Jefferson one's the outlier because I think the Jefferson one, everyone kind of knows. Look, he's the best player in the league. As in, like, he's the best wide receiver in the league. He's going to get the max. Where is everyone else?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra's just said, well, everyone else is 120 million minimum. So Lamb is now going to get a minimum 120 million. Like, this is the starting point for the the CeeDee Lamb contract is now 4 years, 120 million, and it's honestly now probably 4 years, 125 to 130 million.
We also a lot of receivers got paid over the last couple of days. Actually, I didn't have you write it down, but Devonta Smith extended with the Eagles, three years around this figure. AJ Brown inked another extension with the Philadelphia Eagles after like a lot of conversation about like should they get rid of AJ Brown? Does he like being there? It turns out he likes being there. Came out and said he wants to retire in Philly. So yeah, he's not going anywhere. And like keep in mind, his extension currently didn't end until 2026, so he's under contract till the end of the decade, essentially.
Yeah, it's 20. It's 20. I think they've got an out I think they've got an out in 27.
That makes sense.
Other than that, like realistically, yeah, you're right. This is an end of the decade one. Devonta Smith is 3 years for 75 mil, including 51 million guaranteed. Like
honestly, again, for a receiver of Smith's caliber, that's a steal.
So Amon-Ra's 4 years, 120. So that's 40 million. That's 40 million a year. Devonta 3. That's only 25 million a year. Like that's a steal. But like I said, you are the CeeDee Lamb contract. You're looking at honestly, that's going to be. I wouldn't be shocked if we're sitting at 50 million. At not 50 million a year, but we're getting real bloody close.
Yeah, like if we're looking like 32 plus million a year. And then Jefferson, like they're gonna need to like sell the city to keep that dude.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with Jefferson. And the thing is, now we're past the draft. So, we didn't get any major trade from players that we were expecting. There was, we were expecting the Higgins trade. We were expecting the Deebo Samuel or Ayuk trade. Like we were expecting some of these to come beforehand, and the potential of the Justin Jefferson trade, which we were thinking that could potentially be one that is, and it wasn't. So now it's all right. This is their team for this year. What happens now? So it's going to be interesting. And then obviously there is the other extension from the Lions.
Yeah. So go to the next one. Penei Sewell, dude who was highly touted out of college. He was touted being the best blocker in the draft. Personally, I think he lived up to that hype. I think Penei Sewell is an excellent player. I think he's done wonders for the Detroit O-line, and he's got paid like it too.
Yeah.
He might be the highest paid tackle in the NFL right now, if I'm not mistaken.
If not, he's one of.
If not, he's definitely like top 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if he took the title from Tunsil, but I think he's up there.
Yeah, he'd be definitely. I haven't got that information like just in front of like whether or not it is, but yeah, it's a big contract. Look, again, you're right. One of the best players in the league, one of the absolute best current linemen in the league. He absolutely 100% deserved it, and good on him.
No, absolutely, and good on Detroit. Like Detroit, it's wild to think is how much this culture has changed in the last like 3 years since Matt Patricia left, or Matt Patricia got fired.
It has. They're now starting to go a little bit all eggs in one basket. Like, as in, all right, we're starting to push into the all-in stage of this year, especially because given more than likely losing Ben Johnson next year, more than likely, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to, something's going to happen with Goff. They're going to have to make a decision on Goff soon.
Yeah, to decide whether it's going to be Goff or if Hendon Hooker gets a shot this year.
Yeah, so the Lions, this is great. It's what you need to do, obviously. It's the benefit of having a really good draft for a couple of years. Now you got to pay the players. You want get something out of it. Even if you don't win a Super Bowl, you want to get to one at least.
Yeah.
Like, get to a Super Bowl so that you can. Now, look, they went as far as I think they were realistically going last year in terms of, like, I didn't think they were, despite the fact that they were up for majority of that conference final, like, I never thought they were going to win that game. So look,
really,
okay, I thought they were watching the game, but watching it, you're like, oh god, they're gonna win. Oh my god, they're gonna actually upset this, and they're gonna do this. But like, realistically, the conference was as far like the best expectations for that team conference championship was. That team was not built for a Super Bowl last year. They're built for a Super Bowl this year. This is the year that they're like, all right, cool. We're going to have to make some moves so that we can go. And again, the NFC, it's winnable. It's very, very winnable.
Very winnable. One more pre-draft move from the players' perspective before we go on to our next story. New Yorkers, rejoice. You have been saved from the horrors of Zach Wilson.
He is gone.
Yes, he is now gone. He was traded to the Broncos for... Honestly, like, if you got anything out of a Zach Wilson trade, you win.
I'm a little shocked that he wasn't just cut. Like, honest, like I mean, I don't get why the Broncos did this. I really don't. Outside of
keep in mind, but before the draft, we'll talk about that in a second. The QB room consisted of Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and was it Ben DiNucci?
Yeah, DiNucci.
That might be the worst QB room in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. Look, yes, and I completely understand why. Like, I get on paper why the Broncos did this. I also just think it's dumb. And look, they didn't really give up any assets, but it's still, I'm like,
you still gave up something for him, and that's too much.
Yeah, and like, honestly,
I think they might have gave you draft picks to take him away.
Well, yeah, maybe they've done the Jared Goff where it's like, here, we'll give you all of this so you can take that contract.
Yeah. At the same time though, Jets, it's Aaron Rodgers or bust now. I mean, you got Tyrod Taylor, but realistically, it's Aaron Rodgers. It was Aaron Rodgers or bust last year, but the bust is gone now. Now it's you really, really, really need Aaron Rodgers to work this season.
Year for the Jets. The Jets just need, again, this is the stupid thing is, I don't think this team can win a Super Bowl. I think that they are a team that at best can get to a conference final and then lose to the Chiefs or the Texans in the conference final. Like, I realistically think that is at best, because Aaron Rodgers just can't win a conference final apparently. So, and he's gone to the harder division to try and win a final.
No, he can't win against the 49ers. So,
or Tom Brady.
Maybe. Or Tom Brady. both of which he's not got to face in the ASC. So
yeah,
maybe
it could be the first time we ever. It could be the first time we ever actually finally get Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. Although I still don't think it's going to happen because I don't think the Jets are making the playoffs. But we'll talk about that later.
No play. Okay, we'll talk about that within a couple of weeks. But before we get into the draft, the one we talk about today was the deadline for NFL fifth-year options for the 2021 NFL draft. A lot of players you expected to have their options taken were taken. Jacob, do you by chance have the list in front of you?
Yeah, so I got Jackson. So the Jags.
We'll go one by one. We'll give a brief little statement on it.
Yeah, Jags makes complete not a sense.
Trevor Lawrence, obviously, you're not going to not take that dude's option.
No, I am fascinated by what they do, though. I am really fascinated by, do they give him the extension this year or do they wait till next year? And it's all going to depend on, I think it all depends on what does he want. Does he want the Burrow contract or is he happy with the Herbert one? If he's happy with Herbert's contract, then they'll probably do it. But if he wants Burrow,
it's going to depend on like what his trajectory is up to this season. Because like he look from year 1, year 2, dude made great strides. Year 3 took a little bit of a backward step. I'd still think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. It's going to see like, okay, like we got you some new stuff to play with. We'll see like what can you really do.
But I'm more thinking like right now because he's eligible. If they went to his management and said, here is the Justin Herbert contract, and it's literally the Justin Herbert contract, it is the same contract. If Trevor Lawrence declines that this year, then I'm not paying him any more than that. That is my absolute ceiling for this year. And then it's like, okay, where are you? All right, we'll revisit this in a year. Where are you? Where are you at? If he says no, I want the Burrow contract, or I'm next man up, I want the highest paid contract, I'm not paying that.
No, I get that because like you haven't anything to deserve like be the highest paid player in NFL history.
Yeah, whereas in like the Herbert contract, I think is about on par with where his career has been right now. I think Herbert's shown higher highs, but I think Lawrence is because he's got the playoff win, he's got the.
Lawrence, you also have to look at with a different lens because of his first year and how terrible that was due to things that were not in his control.
Yeah. Obviously, the Broncos declined Zach. Oh, sorry, they have not officially declined Zach Wilson yet, but it is very likely and expected to. Same with the Cowboys and Trey Lance. They haven't officially done it yet, but it is expected to.
There's no way. There's no way they pick those up. There's no way they pick up that option. Although it would be hilarious for the most not to drag your field extensions for all your players right now, but to give your option to a guy who's not played a snap for you in the regular season.
The thing is, I actually think Trey Lance will end up signing with the Cowboys. I think he will. I think he's their option next year. I think they like what they've got, and that's why Dak's contract hasn't been sorted.
Interesting. Okay, I mean, it's going to be dependent on like what happens this season, but I could see that happen.
I think they're like, we like what we've got with Trey. And you don't. I
mean, I would be happy. But I would like to see Trey Lance get like a genuine shot.
Yeah,
at the
NFL
NFL level.
I really would too. Kyle Pitts, they accepted, which makes sense. I think that
it makes sense. I mean, they got to use them. Now,
I think this year they've gone, okay, no, we've got all these weapons. We're going to use them. We're in a 2-year window for Kirk Cousins, which we'll get to. And then
get to that.
They're in a 2-year window for it. And then I think that it's okay, cool. Yep. So we'll accept everyone. Like we'll do everyone so that we can have salary cap playing around with and everything that makes sense. Chase makes complete sense. That contract's going to get the thing that the shock there is that it didn't come with the contract. That's the shock there. But it makes complete sense. Same with Waddle. Waddle makes sense. A little shocked it didn't come with the contract, but I think that because of the whole Tua question mark, they're like, how much leeway do we actually have right now?
That's fair.
Penei Sewell, we already talked about. Was obviously done. JC Horn JC Horn has been given the 5th-year option. I'm interested to see what happens there with the Panthers. I think that they might be waiting.
They got a good. They got to get a cap situation. They very easily could extend JC Horn if they wanted to.
They could have, but I think that because they're also a little like, all right, well, we're in hell at the moment. So I think that given new coach, new everything, we're not going to do any contracts this year. So that makes a little sense. Satan, I mean,
PS2, yeah, you're gonna pick his option again. That's another one. I'm surprised they haven't extended him, considering like now that he is the Broncos' best player, like far and away their best player.
Again, I think that has more to do with we don't want to. I think that probably has something to do with we were considering trading him, and you don't want to trade him with the contract because it's harder then to do.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Devontae Smith, we talked about. Justin Fields, you guys have officially said no to Justin Fields.
Thank God. I'll get to that in a second. And I guess it's not a slight on Fields, just that I'm hesitant to give a fifth-year option to a guy who has not played a snap for this team.
Yeah, makes sense. What
I said in our chat was like I would love it if they gave him like the Jordan Love deal, where just like we'll give you like a 1-year deal worth slightly less money than a fifth-year option, but it's basically a fifth-year option.
Yeah. No, and that makes more sense. And if you Fields, you may as well take it. Now, the question is, you've basically opened yourself up to we're taking the insurance on whether or not on Wilson. So you're like, okay, the problem you could possibly have is if at the end of the season, Wilson then turns around and says, I want 30 million. Say he plays decently, not great, but decently, and goes, I want 30 million. And then Fields goes, I'm not playing for you. That's the potential risk you've opened yourself up to here. But we'll see what happens.
It's a good problem to have. Like if Russell Wilson comes in, he plays really well and wants to stay on. I'm like, well, then we got a decision to make.
No, I'm more meaning if Wilson comes in and plays like he did last year at the Broncos, it's decent. It ain't great. Like it's not amazing, but it's not bottoming out awful. Then you guys are going to start having that like, but he then wants his. No, I want my pay.
At that point, I think we move on to Fields. Okay, you have the year to sit and learn. We're going to make you the star of the team.
Yeah,
and then we'll give him like a short deal for that.
Yeah, got a year to hope to God that and then at the end of that year, he's willing.
Pray he learned something. But yeah.
After that makes complete sense.
Absolutely, that extension. Another one's gonna be a fat extension.
It is. Rashawn Slater again makes complete sense. Shocked it hasn't been done yet. That's for the Chargers. I'm a little. The only reason I can possibly think of is salary cap, and that could be also why they made the move that they made, which we'll see.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Vera Tucker makes sense. Again, another one that I'm a little surprised that they haven't extended.
Next McCorkle Jones.
McCorkle with the Jags. Not officially yet, but very much expected not to.
Yeah, okay, so pause real quick. That's what, 3 out of 15 players who did not get their option picked up in the first 15?
Of the 15, the only ones
who... Four.
So, of the 15, the only ones so far, there are 4 who didn't, and
they're all quarterbacks.
And they're all quarterbacks. It's the 4.
It's crazy. Like, that's like, we talk about it all the time, like, the touted draft class was 2021. Mm-hmm. Literally only one of those quarterbacks is still with the team that drafted them.
Yeah, literally one. And he had his 5th-year option picked up, but it's, and none of them, and that's the other thing, like none of them got their 5th-year option picked up. Like that's the other crazy part. So not like they got traded and the other team's like, oh man, we love this guy. No, they're all backups. Every single one of them's backup or 3rd option.
You know who I blame for this? Sam Darnold. After the Panthers picked up his option that one offseason.
Oh yeah.
I feel like teams are really hesitant to do that for players who've never played a snap for them. But keep going down the list.
Okay, so we have our first non-quarterback decline, Xavier Collins with the Cardinals.
That makes sense. Collins hasn't been a standout anyway. It's like I get declining that one.
First official wasn't eligible due Alex Leatherwood because he was cut.
He got cut. Yeah, so he can't get an option.
So he is a free agent. Dolphins with Jalen Phillips. He was extended. He did get the 5th-year option. Hasn't been extended yet. I think they're probably I think Tua has this big giant cloud over how much. How much are we actually going to have to budget? Washington TBD on Davis.
I don't think they pick it up. I don't think they pick it up.
I don't think they do either. Chiefs. I don't have it as official, but I have seen it somewhere else reported that they have declined Kadarius Toney's
for good reason.
Your option. Yeah, absolute good reason. I will be shocked if he is on the team next year. Although actually he might be because of Rice. Rice, they may not have a choice. Actually,
because Rice might be suspended.
Yeah, Rice might not be on the team. Rice might be suspended for 6 weeks. They said I've heard half the season. I don't think it'll be half the season. I think it'll be
absolutely. I've never seen a punishment being that severe. I don't think it's going to be half the season.
No, I think we're looking probably 4 to 6 weeks at most.
Yeah.
Payne for the Colts. He did.
Okay.
Yep. Caleb Farley for the Titans is still TBD. I haven't gotten.
I think they pick it up, but I don't think. No. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Christian Darrisaw for the Vikings. He was picked up.
Makes sense.
I'm going to skip the next one because we can end on that one.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Travis Etienne, he was picked up. Again, running back, they're not gonna do the extension. So yet, I understand why there's no extension, but it makes sense to pick up the option.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to pick up an option. I'm glad you agree.
Greg Newsome for the Browns, they picked him up. Yes. Rashad Bateman, they did pick. He's not eligible because he signed there's something in there where he's not eligible.
No, he got an extension instead, so that circumvents the 5th year option.
Yep.
Which that was a shock to me. They extended him at all.
Well,
I feel like but even that, I feel like that dude is never on the field. So I don't know why you extended that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Peyton Turner for the Saints. He's still TBD. I don't think he was though.
I think declined.
Yeah, Eric Stokes for the Packers
declined, right? They had a decline.
They declined him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bills. We did pick up Russo's, which is good.
Lord knows they need help.
Oh, anything with defense at the moment. And then Ravens with OA they did pick him up.
Okay, and is that the end of the?
And then Bucks are still TBD for their final.
Tryon Shrianka.
I think they didn't. I think they did.
Yeah, I don't think they picked that dude up.
Let's go back up to number 24. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Najee Harris declining the 5th year option.
That was a shock to me.
I think it's a boneheaded move. Completely boneheaded move.
No, I do, for a couple of reasons. One, his 5th year option wasn't that much.
No.
It was only like a $6 million deal. And it's a guy who, by the way, has rushed for 1,000 yards in three back-to-back seasons.
Yep.
Secondly, you got a coach that loves the run game, overhauled the offensive line a lot. I'll talk about that in a second. But this is a dude who has done a lot with very little support, to be completely honest. And look, I think we've seen a lot of evidence. Josh Jacobs was 1.2 recently, where you decline these guys, and then you pay for it. I feel like I like Omar Khan as a GM. This the first movie he's made. I'm just I don't know what you're thinking, because I feel like not picking that option was going to bite us in the ass at some point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. There must be a running back next year that they're loving, and they're just we're going for him next year. I just don't get it. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. And even then, you putting all your eggs in one basket. Or the other option is ownership came in and went, nope, no new contracts this year, because this is it's the same as the Cowboys. This is the one and done. This is everything is on the table right now, and I want as much flexibility as possible. At the same time, though, again, it's only a $6 million deal. I don't understand why we're not doing it. Yeah. look, Najee Harris has there are the off field and the locker room stuff. Him and Pickens, they do have. So there is that potential.
And then but also like Najee Harris has been a guy who's like as far as I've heard, like an upstanding character. Like I think like the organization loves Najee, the team loves him, the community loves him. I don't understand why you want that guy to leave, and maybe you want to put a chip on his shoulder. Maybe say he pops off this year with like all the new stuff we're doing on offense. At the same time, though, again, I feel like this move is going to backfire on at some point, and if it does, I am going to scream.
I mean, the other thing could just be running backs are inflated right now, and they think that they can get him cheaper for the 5th year instead of paying the 5th year option because they're all inflated right now.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm scared that like he's gonna have a really good year and they're gonna franchise tag him. He's not gonna play on the tag. I'm just like, yeah. That's where we are. That's where we are at this point.
I can see that happening. All right, let's move on.
But yeah, that's where we are. We'll see what happens. Yeah, moving on to the big moment of truth, the NFL draft. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the first round. Going to go down that list, and if we have a team we want to dive deeper into, because there are some we want to dive deeper into, we will dive into that. First overall pick, Caleb Williams for the Bears. Obviously, made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Did I say made a lot of sense? Made the most sense. Like, yeah, that was the move. Like, there was no other option. That was the move.
Yeah. It was it was one of those ones where it was, it's the obvious move. It's the right one to make. If there was a team to fuck it up, it's the Bears, though. Like, if there was a team to fuck this up somehow, it was the Bears.
It's the Bears.
And so, look, they didn't. They made the right choice. I think I think Caleb is going to one of the best situations possible for him, though. Like, I do think he's going to a really good situation in there. I think the best situation for a quarterback is the Vikings, but
I wouldn't argue he's going to the best situation because he's still got to do with Matt Eberflus as a coach. Granted, he got a new OC.
Yeah, that's the one downside, obviously, yes, is you have a lame duck coach. Now,
and of course, he is going to the Bears team that has literally never successfully developed a quarterback that they drafted.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with him. I think the ceiling is high, very high for the Bears this year. I think that they're especially with their we may as well talk about it now instead of we'll just skip over it. But with their 9th pick getting Odunze, I think that's the biggest story.
With the Odunze pick, they potentially have the best receiver trio in the league.
Oh, without question, yes. That receiver room. There is a look, Allen. I really like Allen, but I think he's now a 2, a pretty firm number 2. I don't think he is still a number 1 anymore, just with the injuries and with the
age.
And with the age, but Odunze and DJ Moore, they're number 1s. So he has 2 number 1s and a borderline number 1 in the wide receiver room that he can play with. I am really curious how he goes. The big question mark for the Bears obviously is going to be one, how well is Caleb going to play when stuff gets a little tough? When it gets a little tough, how is he going to play? Now, I think all the crying and everything has been a little bit overblown. And I think it just shows he really cares, and that's what you want in a player. And he's got a lot of passion and love for this sport, and I think he will do really, really well. But I also know that people are a lot more skeptical, and last year at USC was not good. It was not good. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Bears defense is able to also be really good so that not on Caleb's shoulders.
With the 9, I would have gotten the best defender on the board, but at the same time, I can't complain with the Rome pick. I think Rome's an excellent player. I want to do a lot. Being Pac-12, Washington. I like the pick. I think that defense really needs some stepping up to, and there was a perfect opportunity to take any defensive player you wanted.
Yeah, well, they hadn't been one picked yet. So look,
they hadn't.
If Odunze's not there, I think they go Dallas Turner. Like I do think that that's who they picked, but because Odunze fell, I don't know how you not pick him at that point. Like I completely get he was the best player on the board. I think you had to pick him, and it would have been one of those where we all look back and go, why didn't you grab him?
I mean, personally, like he's my second favorite receiver in this draft. I do like him a little more than I do Neighbors, but
that's fair.
Yeah, but it's still number 2, Commanders taking Jaden Daniels at LSU. Athletic dual threat quarterback going to Washington, number 2 overall. Where have I seen this before?
Yeah.
Look,
I'm
the best thing going Jaden Daniels' favor, he does not have the Snyder regime to work under in Washington.
Yeah,
like they're not going to force him out there when he's clearly injured. They're not going to send him out there to die.
Yeah, here's my thing. I think that out of all the places that Jaden could have gone, out of the 2 places, he went to the better situation for him. Like I actually think the 2 quarterbacks ended up going to the better situation for both of them. I think if Jaden went to the Patriots, he would have been killed, and I don't think it would have worked at all. And I think he is not ready for that team. Whereas in going to Washington, I think they've got enough things there where he can maybe start doing a little bit, but it is all really going to come down to coaching and how much do you trust Kingsbury as an OC? We haven't seen it in the NFL. We've seen him as a head coach, but we haven't seen him as an OC. So I'm curious how he goes there, because for 2 years, he worked with Kyler. He really got the most out of Kyler that you could. It was just then when he got injured, it was just then the head coaching of it all started to get a little bit too hard.
Yeah. Moving on to number 3 pick, Drake May ended up going to New England. A pick that New England got several trade offers for them to take, and for them to move down in the draft. They said no. They must have really wanted May. May, I think, is a real boomer bust pick. Like he's either going to really flourish or he's going to drop like a rock at the NFL level. There's no in between.
I think Drake May. Look, it became very apparent Drake May was the pick of the draft for everyone. Drake May was the one everyone wanted, not McCarthy, like everyone was believing it to be.
Yeah.
That it was May. May was the one everyone wanted, and they were trying to go hard for him. The Patriots not accepting a lot of the offers, I think, may have been a mistake. I think some of those offers were really good.
The one from the Vikings was really good.
The Vikings one, I honestly think that I think the Giants one was really good, because I think the Giants are going to be bad next year. No matter whereas in the Vikings I think would be good. I think the Vikings the Giants next year are going to be bad. So you could have had the Panthers situation where we have a top 5 pick and it's not ours. So
yeah.
Or we have 2 top 5 picks. Like I think that was the Giants one, which was this year's first,
next year's first, I think like a mid-rounder,
like a second or something this year or something. Like it was this year and next year's, like just straight. And so I was like, okay, I'd have maybe done that and then tried to maybe gone from there. But I get why they do it. Here is going to be the biggest bit of, all right, how much strength do you have in the organization where May has to sit all year? Doesn't matter how bad you're playing. Doesn't matter how Jacoby is playing. Drake May cannot play this year. He has to sit all year. Otherwise, you put him out there, they're going to kill him. You do not have the weapons. You don't have the team to actually put Drake May out there. He has to sit for an entire year. And I don't know if the Patriots team.
I don't think that fan base is going to be patient enough for him to sit the entire year.
Yeah. And that, I think, is the problem. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
For the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, yeah, best receiver prospect we've seen in some time. I think, look, if this pans out, the Cardinals have their Fitz 2.0 in that they're going to waste his entire career sputtering on a hamster wheel of just bad.
When it became very apparent that, because apparently they were open to trading and no one did, which I think is that became no one is actually after JJ. Like, no, like people know what JJ's worth and they're not willing to trade up for him. Or they're not willing to give up capital to go get him.
And like if he's there, we'll grab him, but we're not.
Yeah, and I thought that was
go out the way to get him.
Yeah, because they wanted, the Cardinals wanted a significant haul, and I think that if the Patriots drafted McCarthy and May went to 4th, I think Cardinals get a significant haul for that pick.
Probably, yes.
But it didn't happen. So this was the most obvious pick of the night on outside of Caleb. This was like the most obvious pick of, oh yeah, cool. Yep. Nope. Cardinals are grabbing Marvin Harrison. You're right. It's going to be they've got their next Larry Fitzgerald. And if he pans out and he plays plays this way, it's going to be great.
Yeah. Next pick, though, is where I got to take a team to task a little bit. Chargers, number 5 overall. Take Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Now, look, I'm of two minds of this. One, I get it. Justin Herbert's the future. You got to protect that dude at all costs. At the same time, though, what does it matter if you protect him if he has nobody to throw to? Like, minus Harrison, you had your pick of any receiver you wanted. You were in perfect striking position to get a receiver, and you did not take a receiver.
I don't hate it. I
don't hate the pick. It's just like, you could have bolstered your weak, depleted receiving core, and you didn't do it.
Okay, here's my relatively hot take. O-linemen, especially tackles, are hard to come by. Right now in the league, wide receivers, you can pretty much get them pretty easily.
Then where are they?
Okay, there are about 40. There are 40 wide receivers in the league right now who we would consider wide receiver 1.
And none of them are on the Chargers. I
know, and none of them
are on the Chargers.
I know, but with the running back position falling and college kids no longer wanting to play running back, they're playing wide receiver or they're playing tight end, and that's where more and more these players are going. So I think they took the smart bet, which is we can get a decent wide receiver later in the draft, especially if Herbert's got an extra 2 seconds to throw, maybe one of them's going to get open. Because
they did. They got Ladd McConkey out of Georgia in the 2nd round, which I like that pick. I'm a fan of Ladd McConkey. I think that he's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust that dude as the number 1, but he's going to have to step up big for this team.
I have a feeling, yes, I think he's going to have to step up big for that. But I have a feeling they could go and get someone, like they could make a trade somewhere for someone. I don't know who exactly yet, but I think that there could be some trading and that they go and get someone. So and the other thing I really like, look, Brendan Rice is a Charger. So,
now this will get butts and seats, right?
Well, okay, no, but dad coming into the locker room and helping to train up some of these kids.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that pans out. But either way,
like,
Joe,
that's something where I'm like, okay, hey, for a 7th round pick, I would have taken that bet that we could get Dad to come in and be hey Jerry, come in and yeah, get him as like a semi-volunteer, or hey, we'll pay you, but like come in as a coach. But we've got a team's gonna draft Bronny to try and get LeBron. Like It's gonna happen. And hey,
Although nobody drafted T.O.'s kid. Nobody drafted that kid.
Yeah, well.
No, we can't have one. The point is, look, when I saw Joe Alt with his negative drip, I thought like this dude is gonna be a stud.
Oh yeah, dude, like my favorite thing in the entire world was someone was like, he's got a cabin in Minnesota. He just looks like the most white person in the entire world. It's like, yep, he's a Hall of Famer. Like this kid's gonna be a Hall of Famer. This kid's just, yep, future Hall of Famer right here. This kid's gonna be fucking great.
It's the negative drip for me. That's what's
like, and it's just looking at him, you're like, yeah, this look, and that's probably also the thing that they went.
No, if they can keep him and Slater, that offensive line is going to be nasty for years to come.
And that's and again, hey, we're going up against one of the best defenses in football twice a year in Chiefs right now. Come on, the Chiefs defense proved last year they are one of the best in football. They carried that team to a Super Bowl.
It did, but they also lost one of their best players. We'll see how they go next. But moving on to our next pick, with the Chargers passing on a receiver, the Giants took Malik Nabers out of LSU. Which, yeah, look, this is. I feel like the Giants they're giving Daniel Jones one last chance.
Okay, something. I get them picking a wide receiver here, and especially given they didn't want McCarthy very clearly. I understand that. Have you seen the video of Nabers going to the Giants facility for the first time? Dude just looks depressed. Just like
he so does not want to be there.
He convinced himself, I'm going to the Cardinals or or LA. Like, I'm going to Arizona or LA. I'm playing with Justin Herbert or Kyler Murray. Oh, Daniel Jones is throwing the ball to me. Like, he just looks so
we'll talk about it when we get to our fantasy breakdown, but avoid Nabers at all costs.
Yeah, I just like
Nabers. That is not a dig at you. It's more a dig at your situation.
No, next year Nabers is going to be amazing because the Giants are going to have like the number one picks or number one. They're going to have a really high draft pick, so they're going to grab someone and and Nabers is going to be like, cool, his numbers are great, or he'll force himself out. One of the other two. Yeah. So next up, we obviously had the Titans.
Yeah. With I think they wanted Alt or
this was the
they wanted Alt. They were praying Alt fell to them.
Yeah, Chargers picking Alt just made them go, fuck me. Like they wanted Alt badly, and I'm a little shocked they grabbed Latham.
Latham was a surprising one. I thought they would have gone Fuaga.
Yeah, so did I. Fuaga or Fuaga fell. That was the other surprising.
Fuaga fell far. That was a shock.
That was a little bit of a shock. But yeah, also at this point we're only 7 deep. We're only we've not had we're only offensive players so far. We have not had a single defensive player yet.
Not a single defender on the board either. We thought it might have gone at number 8. This is where shit starts to get fucked. And this was the what the fuck over the first round. The Falcons taking Michael Penix out of Washington. This is a draft pick that literally made me scream out, what the fuck, when I was watching it.
Shock of the night.
Yeah.
Completely.
Keep in mind, we've talked about it. Like, the Falcons just paid Kirk Cousins like 9 figures fully guaranteed.
For 4 $100 million guaranteed.
Like, it's 150 actually, because it's $50 million signing bonus. Point is, $150 million fully guaranteed for 4 years, and you're picking in the top 10. You have desperate needs at edge because you had one of the worst pass rushes in the league last year, and you draft a quarterback.
So I'm the weird one. I don't hate it. I get it. I understand why they made the decision. Because, I understand why they made the decision because next year's draft class is not good at all for quarterback. Like, it's really not. And if you liked Penix, be
I
told,
like Penix a lot.
I
I
like
like
Penix
Penix
a
a
lot.
lot.
I was shocked that he was falling. I was like, some team is going to steal this kid for nothing.
For my money, like that dude had the best arm of any QB in this draft.
I really wanted him to fall to the Rams. Like I was like, man, him like learning behind Stafford and then going to the Rams, I thought that would have been really awesome. Like I was shocked at how much everyone was just like, he's no, he's not even going to be a first rounder. Like I was shocked by that. Penix, I think, is incredible for because I watched the playoffs and I watched like the games I did watch. Penix was generally involved because I'm on the West Coast. And so I really liked Penix in this, and I was like, oh man, I really hope that he actually does like get drafted relatively high. The Falcons drafting him, I don't hate because it's the ultimate hedge, and I get it, and I'm not going to blame anyone for that, but I also get why, hey, we didn't feel like we didn't like any of the edge rushers. If that was if that was the thing, if they went, we didn't like any of them, I get spending the.
But they liked somebody because they tried to trade back into the first round.
Yeah, well, that's the.
So they clearly like somebody, and at the same time, if you want Penix so bad, and that's okay. Never mind. This is gonna fly with me. But like you could have traded back. Like take the luxury pick this high it's just irresponsible.
I don't think this is the other thing, and I disagreed with you over the last month about this, where you're like, why is McCarthy going so high? Because there were 5 quarterbacks and 6 teams needed a quarterback, and they were all in the top 14 picks. I
wasn't going to say trade back because, like, again, if he was on the board, Vegas definitely would have taken him.
Yeah,
or Denver.
That's my thing. Like Vegas was going to take him. I think Denver take him. I think Vikings do quietly. Like I think because Falcons took Penix, that's what made the Vikings trade. Went, oh shit, hang on, someone else could do this, and they traded up. So I quietly think that the Vikings may have. I really think all of the JJ McCarthy, everything we were hearing was a smokescreen because they wanted May and they wanted Penix. I think they're the 2 big ones that everyone wanted.
Again, my numbers had nothing to do with Penix. The fact that they had more pressing needs that they ignored for a luxury pick in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm never going to call quarterback a luxury pick at this point.
It is when you just signed the guy for 4 years for $180 million.
But here's my thing: like if he sits for 2 years, like it's $100 million guaranteed, but you have an out after 3 years. Like if you look at the contract, they have an out after 3 years. Now, the one problem I have, I agree. I don't believe that they were going to do this when they signed Kirk Cousins. Like I don't think they were ever drafting Penix when they signed Cousins, and that's why his contract's structured the way that it is. But I just straight up don't hate this. I understand because it's quarterback. It's the most difficult position in the world in the league to actually draft and get correct. It's the most important position in football. I am not going to hate. I don't hate this. But I also think it means they're not winning a Super Bowl this year. They're not winning a Super Bowl. They're a team that is, we just don't want to be. We want to be relevant. That's all. Like, and I think what this pick does is every year, hey, we're going to win the division. We're going to maybe win a playoff game, but then lose in the second round. They'll be relevant. They'll be the Steelers. I'm not an insult, but that's where.
No, I understand what you mean. Like, they're gonna be a problem every year.
Yeah, they're not gonna be a team that you're like, they're winning the Super Bowl, but they're gonna be a team where it's like I can't take them unseriously. Like I can't. They're not a Giants or a Falcon. Not Giants or a Saints right now, Actually, the Saints are probably a good example. the GM used to be for the Saints. What's been the Saints' biggest problem? They just cannot get off the quarterback carousel. They're just constant, and he's seeing that where it's just we are just constantly here, but we're not bad enough to be able to fully bottom out, and we're not good enough to really do anything. So I don't hate it. I get why they made the decision. I'm fine with it. I get it, and I'll be on my own little island.
Yes, you are. Go back to Australia. After that, we talk about Bears taking Ramadinze, number 10. Vikings trade up one spot to make sure they got JJ McCarthy. And like I said it a lot on the show, I'll say it again. I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to pan out at the NFL level. I think he's Mac Jones 2.0. I think he's a product of the Harbaugh coaching system and a great team around him. I will say, however, he did go to the best situation for his skills. There he's got Jefferson, he's got Jordan Addison, he's got Hawkinson, who's really good. But like he went to the best place for his skills to cultivate. At the same time, though, like how much do you really trust JJ McCarthy at the NFL level? Because I don't trust him at all.
I think you said it. He went to the perfect situation for him. He is a 4-year starter, and I think that he won't get the big. But look, he's Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, let's be like that. He's Jimmy Garoppolo. That means they can still make a Super Bowl. I'm not writing off the Vikings. With them the way they are built right now, I think they can. They're a good enough team where they can build around the limitations of JJ McCarthy. I think O'Connell is a good enough coach that they're going to be able to do that. I think this is the best possible spot for him. I was really glad that the Patriots didn't draft him, because if they did, then I think it would have just completely destroyed. Like, I think they would have been drafting Mac Jones 2.0.
Going to the Patriots, or McCarthy goes to Patriots or Giants, that pick does not pan out.
Oh yeah, or the Giants, because again, you're right. He doesn't have the support around him. The Vikings, they've built that team for, hey, we've got the team around us. I mean, O'Connell was he a 49ers or was he a Rams? I can't remember.
Rams.
Rams. Okay, yeah. But that's the type of team they've built. So I like the pick. I think it works for them. Out of all of the quarterbacks available, they needed a quarterback. He's the best one left on the board, so I get why they did it.
Either way, I still think that dude just does not have a proficient career in the NFL. Like, he's a competent game manager at best. Like, I never been a fan of JJ McCarthy. I think he will be the starter for the Vikings for 4 years or 5 years. For 5 years with the 5th year option, and then some big agent, some free agent will become available and they'll grab him. That's what I think will happen. After that, the Jets picked 11th. Actually, a really smart decision. They could have taken Brock Bowers, could have taken another receiver, could have taken a defender. Decided to take Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Which, look, the second Rodgers went down in the first game of last season, they knew the O-line health, they needed it badly. They did a lot to address that this year. This is the first young piece addressing it, because they got Morgan Moses, they got Tyron Smith. But this is the first time they're getting a young player doing it. And I like Fashanu a lot.
Yeah, smartest decision the Jets have made in a couple of years. Honestly, this was and I'm a little shocked by it. I am actually a little shocked that they didn't take the flashy, shiny toy that was Brock Bowers, and I'm a little shocked that Rodgers didn't put his thumb on the scale of no, get me a weapon, please. He must care about wanting to be protected.
Yeah, he must care about wanting to live. You know what? I don't need a weapon. Just help me not die back there. After that, we have Broncos on the clock. Ended up taking reaching for Bo Nix out of Oregon. You had to do it.
I'm not going to call it a reach.
It is a reach, though. Give him what Bo Nix is. It's a reach.
It's okay. I'm not. All right. You and I have different definitions of a reach. I'm not going to call it a reach when the next fucking team was going to draft him. Like when you literally drafted him as late as you possibly could.
No, like,
And that's why,
I get the situation. I'm calling it a reach because, and I would call JJ a reach too, because the teams were so desperate they're trying to grasp at
well,
anything for an
yeah,
answer.
I get it, but like, so yes, in that definition, it's a reach. But I also think that that's unfortunately what happens when there are 6 teams that need a quarterback and there are only 5 of them. So,
The thing Broncos fans are worried about right now is Bo Nix just Paxton Lynch 2.0.
Oh yeah, I think they started last week with Jared Stidham as their best quarterback, and they may have ended the week with Jared Stidham as their best
quarterback.
Like, despite having picked up 2 quarterbacks and traded for one of them, they may have.
Jared Stidham might still be the best quarterback.
Yeah, he may still be the best quarterback in that room. Like, I don't know if Bo Nix is going to pan out. That being said, hey, the last Oregon quarterback that everyone wrote off panned out. So,
but that's one in like.
Oh, I know that. I know
50 years. Like but before Justin Herbert got damn fast, that was 50 fucking years ago.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't think this will pan out. But yeah,
like Bo Nix was seen as like around like 2 or 3 talent before.
Oh yeah,
any of this happened.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and I didn't say this earlier, I think the biggest that was Jayden Daniels when he was at ASU. Like, Jayden Daniels at ASU was going to be lucky to be drafted, and dude's still way too fucking small, way too small for the NFL. But anyway.
After that, I believe it will. Yeah, Brock Bowers going to Vegas, which I get it, best player in the world at the same time. You just drafted Michael Mayer, who is good. Like, I saw that dude be good at Notre Dame for several years. But the 2 tight end set did do wonders for a lot of teams, so maybe this will pan out.
I think at the Raiders were kind of in that like, well, fuck it, like this year's a write-off, so grab the best player. Like, I think because they were the one that didn't get the quarterback, this year has now become a write-off. I think for especially, and I really feel for Pierce because
about to say sorry, Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce, I think he's gone by the end of the year because they didn't get a quarterback. Unless Minshew pulls out some fucking magic again, I think, hey, sorry, dude, you did the best you possibly could, and I think he's gone by the end of the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. After that, I believe that was the Saints. That's what took Fuaga, isn't it?
Yeah, so the Saints took Fuaga again.
Then the Saints, actually, I think they had a better pick in the second round because Kool-Aid McKinstry fell the first round entirely.
Yeah,
fell them in the second.
Yeah, he fell to the second, which is like Kool-Aid. I was a little shocked how far Kool-Aid fell.
I was too.
But yeah, like it's
like Kool-Aid was the guy I really wanted in Pittsburgh. But yeah, he fell. Fuaga also necessary because I can't remember who they took in 2022. Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning has not panned out at all.
No, he has not panned out.
Yeah, so they need an answer. Fuaga, again, like a guy who I would argue is like the second best tackle in this draft, fell this far. You have to take him.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. Yeah, like he fell. All right. Got him for a steal. So, and then next up, we had our first defensive player of the night.
Mind you, like this is the longest run for either side of the ball in terms of players drafted. Like, we had 14 straight offensive players take where we had a defender come off the board.
And then we go on a run of
we do a lot of defenders. Yeah, it was Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. UCLA for the Colts. Yeah, I mean, great get. Kwity Paye is developing. You guys still got DeForest Buckner there kicking ass. That defensive line could be something. That defensive line could be something really, really challenging for a lot of teams to come against. And Laiatu Latu, I think, is maybe the best edge rusher on the board. Again, someone the Falcons could really use.
The positive look here's the good thing for the Colts is they've obviously got an incredible offensive mind at head coach. So we load up on defensive players. we load up on defensive players because, hey, very likely we're going to have to rotate our defensive coordinator. So if the players are really good, then
they also did land Adonai Mitchell out of Texas in the second round, which again, another guy I was shocked fell that far.
Yeah, there's a few players that will get when we get to some of these later teams that I'm a little shocked fell because, and you can tell.
Talk about the Raiders. The Raiders landed Jackson Powers Johnson, who I thought was the best center in the draft, in the second round.
Yeah, actually, that's yes. Yeah, that one was crazy. You can really also tell how much players were like, and teams were like, oh shit, all these players are still available in the second round, because it wasn't the first round trading that they were doing; it was the second round.
Day two trades went crazy.
Yeah, the day two trades were just like, oh, get up as much as you can, because players like Cooper DeJean. We trade the Rams traded up for Fisk, Kool-Aid. There's all these players that were just still available, and teams who were at the bottom of the draft were like, I am trading up. I don't care.
I'm doing something. I am doing something.
Yeah.
To get up the draft. But yeah, Leonard's a great get for the Colts. After that, Seahawks take Byron Murphy, defensive tackle out of Texas. They need somebody to help bolster the run defense. The Byron Murphy, big space eater, physical. I love that pick for Seattle. Gonna need that, especially with McDonald as the new head coach.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Seahawks this year. Actually, I think they're going to be
interesting. Yeah. After that, Vikings trade back up once Dallas Turner's still on the board. Yeah, I mean, I don't love the first round pick. I love this one. I think Dallas Turner is a good edge rusher.
This is again a great trade as well. They didn't give up a whole lot to go up and get him. Really great trade. A little. I think maybe it's because I think Cincy weren't willing to trade. Because Cincy weren't taking him. So if Cincy weren't willing to trade, that's why you had to go to Jacksonville. But great, really good trade for the Vikings to move up and get Dallas Turner, who everyone was saying he's the best defensive player in this draft, and he fell to 17.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, but that's where we are in the NFL right now. Right after that, I believe it was the Bengals taking Amarius Mims out of Georgia. This is look. I think he's the biggest tackle in the draft right now.
Yeah, I'm really curious. So, I'm really curious how you feel about this, having to somehow get around him.
I mean, it doesn't matter when you have TJ Watt. He's getting around him. It doesn't matter who you line up against TJ Watt. He's TJ fucking Watt. He's gonna own it. So, Amarius Mims, congratulations. You're about to get destroyed twice a year by the best defensive player in the league. So good luck to you. He's essentially haven't said in a long time. The Rams in the first round.
First time since 2018. Sorry, 2016. Sorry, 2016.
The Rams had a first round pick for the first time in nearly a decade. And I'm taking Jaden Verse out of where did he go to college?
Florida State.
That's what I thought. FSU.
They had to get the next one that they could.
With Donald gone, that's a massive, massive hole in that defense. You got to compensate somehow. I feel like if Byron Murphy kept falling, they definitely would have taken him.
I think if Byron Murphy gets past, here's my thing. If Byron Murphy gets past, if Seattle don't take him and say they take Turner instead, I think Rams make the trade with the Jags. Rather than, I think they're the ones that trade up to get Byron. I'm a little shocked that maybe the Rams didn't think. I think Rams would have had Turner on there, like when he was falling. Like they're like, oh, we may have to try and get it, because they were never going to be able to trade with Seattle. Like in division, just wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I think they may have thought, oh no, like no one. They may have got a little complacent that no one was going to jump. That, Jacksonville aren't grabbing defensive and Bengals are going O-line. We've got Turner. I'm curious if that's how they would have felt, because it's a little weird that they didn't trade up to try and get Turner.
So So yeah, moving on. Number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. I had no idea what this team was going to do. I really didn't. Ended up landing Troy Fatanu, tackle out of Washington. Hopefully this ends the Dan Moore experiment. I'm hoping it is. But look, this is a team, they did a lot. I love this draft class a lot. I think Omar Khan has two really good back-to-back drafts. Spent a lot of capital on the offensive line. Did this, got Zach Frazier in the second round, center, because Lord knows we needed it. They got another guard. This is the one guy I can remember his name. But even beyond that, they landed Roman Wilson out of Michigan, who I love. We needed a receiver, and he fell right to us. Linebacker Peyton Wilson was in the first round talent, so we found out he had no ACL, but still put like you watch that dude play at NC State. That's a dude that screams Steeler to me. And even like our last round, we got Logan Lee out of Iowa and one of the cornerback out of Texas. I mean, depth pieces, but could become something. I think that if you look, I'm not just saying that as a fan. The Steelers did crush this draft. They really did. And look, the last time the Steelers got an American Samoan named Troy in the first round, it was a game changer, which means Steelers are back. Never got a Super Bowl.
You still have Russell Wilson as your quarterback.
Exactly, Russell Wilson. He's going to carry us to the promised land.
Okay, sure. Do you want to talk to Broncos fans 2 years ago?
We're not the Broncos. Look, there's a black cat around that franchise.
Sorry, can I just say, who's won a Super Bowl more recently?
Shut up. We didn't have Peyton Manning. We didn't have Peyton Manning. Just carries the Super Bowl. Or Von Miller. But yeah, no, I did like the field draft class a lot. After that, who picked 21? Was it Philly? Dolphins. This is the one I did have some umbrage with. They got Chop Robinson out of Penn State. I no disrespect to Chop Robinson, and like you do need to fill the hole that Christian Wilkins left behind. At the same time, though, priority one should be having Tua stay upright.
I think they needed to make this move, but I also think they went way too early. Like I think this was you should have traded back. This was panic. This was a big panic that there'd been a run. Oh shit, get back. Like oh shit, just grab him now instead of you could have gotten Chop in the second round. And you're right. Go get it. Go get one of the tackles. Get something, or go get an O lineman or someone.
Get a guard. Something.
Something to help Tua stay upright. And because at that point, the blue chip edges or defensive players had kind of gone. You needed so you could move back at this point.
Yeah, and then after that, who went next?
Then Philly.
Look, I feel like Philly heard everything you were saying about their secondary. Like, okay, you know what? Fine. Yeah. First of all, got Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo, made the most physical corner in the draft.
Absolute steal. How he fell, I have no idea. And the stupid thing is he's still the first corner taken. It's not like it was other teams took higher corner. No, he's just the first corner gone off the board, and he still somehow fell to Philly. I just absolute steal there. And then obviously in the second round.
Yeah, after the great white hope, Cooper DeJean did not get taken in the first round. Howie Roseman in the second round said, you know what? Let me jump on that. Traded up to take Cooper DeJean.
Good, really, really good trade. Really good move to go up. And yeah, I think Howie did a really good job in this. And again, it's the Eagles every year. They make Howie Roseman's been really good lately with this, with the draft. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, they had a big need at corner. They went out and addressed it. So yeah, good on them.
Yeah, and then beyond that, this is where Jacksonville ended up selecting them. With Calvin really leaving, they needed another weapon for Trevor Lawrence to play with. Just because, do you trust receiving core led by Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk? I don't.
Oh God, no! I was just really hoping that the GM would fuck this up because he's really good at doing that. He's really good at
Trent Baalke is.
He's
really
really good at fucking up and picking the wrong player, and damn it, he picked the right one.
He did.
like
in the first round. The rest of Jacksonville's draft was not very good.
No, but this was the right.
The first round.
He did. Out of the wide receivers still available, he was the best one. He was the best one in the later half, like of the best of the non-3. He was the best, and I was like, God damn it, because he was who I wanted him or Worthy. Like when he went, I know. We'll get to it. Yeah, I wanted Worthy, and I was upset.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's the kind of hilarious actually. But yeah, after that, Lions taking Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of. But they needed a cornerback after everything that happened with Cam Sutton in the offseason.
Yeah.
Needed somebody to fill that void. Terrion Arnold, great pick.
Alabama.
And did snipe the Packers once again for the guy that they wanted.
Yeah.
Which means they had to settle for Jordan Morgan, tackle out of my alma mater, University of Arizona. I know Packers fans were not happy about this, but I will say you got a good one. I like Jordan Morgan's a great player. Got to watch that dude very closely for several years. I think Jordan Morgan's great. You need someone to fill that whole bit. David Bakhtiari, and I think Jordan Morgan is going to do. I'm rooting for Jordan Morgan. I really am.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. It's a good pick for them, and yeah.
I mean, the argument you could have traded back a bit.
Yeah, you really could, especially after because we didn't talk about Detroit traded with the Cowboys because the Cowboys traded back. And yeah, so you probably could have traded back a little bit. Again, at that point, I don't know how many teams were like trading back. It became pretty apparent that like was trading up. I mean,
yeah. Well, we know one who was.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a second.
Then Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks taking Graham Barton, which I'm surprised he was the first center off the board. Again, I'm a Graham Barton fan. I think Jackson Powers Johnson was the better center in the drafts. Managed to fall. I'm curious what happened with Jackson Powers Johnson because he was seen as like a lock for the first round until we got close to the draft time, and he was not a lock for the first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, you also needed this because Ryan Jensen was forced into injury. Was forced into retirement after injury. Needed it. You got it. Good pickup there. After that, what did we have next? Yeah, Cardinals with their second first rounder took Darius Robinson.
Yeah. Again, they needed to address the defense. Right move. I think Cardinals had a pretty decent draft in the first round. Like I think they were like, oh no, they grabbed decent enough players, and it was like, okay, cool, yeah, you've gone again the best player in that position off the board at that time. So yeah, I think it was the right move.
Now pick number 28, where the Bills would have picked. I have to question the logic here because not only did you trade back, which is fine, but you trade back with the Chiefs, the team who keeps kicking your ass. You trade back with them, and lo and behold, they land the fastest receiver in the history of the NFL Combine.
Yep. I liked Worthy because of that. Like, look, Worthy's tiny. He needs to put on a fuck ton of weight. Like, he absolutely needs to bulk up. Otherwise, he's going to get murdered. But I was like, I really want Xavier Worthy. I was worried the Lions were the ones who were going to like jump us and grab him. And that was my big fear that we'd miss out because the Lions would grab him. But didn't expect this. Don't love it.
I'm like, I don't understand why the Bills GM keeps taking the Chiefs calls at this point.
Look, and the thing that I don't like, okay. The thing I didn't love also was like, we didn't really get anything for it. Although, like, thinking back, like, okay, we at least got into day 2 with another pick. Like, so we were in day 2 instead. And like, with what we ended up doing with our first round pick, or with, you know, the 33rd, I was like, all right, fine. I've come around on it. I'm not as mad as I was on the night, but at the time, I was pissed. I was like, why are we trading with this team? Like, just if they had offered us the two good, like, it's an offer you just can't refuse. I get it, but this wasn't that. And like, I get, and look, we weren't going to draft Worthy, but the 49ers might have. And so then, the Chiefs don't get him. Like, I really didn't love this. I really didn't love that we made the trade, but I get why. I get it in the end. We weren't going to take him, so why fuck it? Like, let's just trade back, and we got the player we wanted anyway. So I don't know.
I mean, I'll get to that in a second. Another issue of what you did later, but we'll talk about it. After that, I believe it was the Cowboys. Tyler Guyton, was it not?
Yeah. Look, Cowboys have a history. They're really good at drafting O linemen. So I know he was lower on everyone else's draft board, and they probably could have got him later. But I'm not going to kill them for this because they've been their entire.
Especially with Tyron Smith gone.
Yeah, they've just got a history of being incredible with drafting O linemen. So I'm cool. I'll believe it. I think it's a little embarrassing that their defensive tackles on a podcast going, "Who the fuck's this guy?" I thought that was a little. Hey, maybe don't want to be doing that.
That was good.
And then straight afterwards, having your owner of your team going, "Oh, we really want this running back in the second round that we really love." Too bad we're picking 20-something spots after. And then he went like 10 spots before they could grab him, and it was just like, what are you do? Like,
why would you say these things?
Yeah, so Cowboys have had a really rough offseason. And I don't feel bad for Cowboys fans, but yeah, you're in for a rough 12 months. I think you really are in for a rough 12 months.
Yeah. After that, we had Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson, going to Baltimore. I think you need a comment from Martin Humphrey. I think it's a good pick for him, especially because you did lose Geno Stone in the offseason. It was like a revelation last year.
This is another one of those, like, it's the Ravens and a cornerback. I ain't gonna criticize you. Like,
no, they're a team that knows how to draft. They really do.
Yeah, it's like it's Ravens and it's a defensive player. He's probably going to be a borderline Hall of Famer.
It's probably going to work out. It's probably going to work out.
Like you have never ever not panned out. Like this always seems to work. So yeah, I'm not going to criticize you there.
After that, you had
49ers.
The 49ers taking Ricky Pearsall, which was a surprise to me because Pearsall was seen as like a day 3 talent.
It was, and then. It's amazing how, like, Pearsall was this, like, talent where it was like, oh, that seems like a reach. That seems like a reach. And then CJ Stroud on the same podcast is screaming, like, profanities, like, God damn it, we missed him. And it's like, oh, shit, okay, this may have been a really good pick.
It's gonna depend. And also, this also points to the fact that either Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, one of them's going.
Yeah, one of them's going. We'll get to it in a minute because the next trade is like the next thing was the big trade. The Bills obviously traded out of 32 and they traded down and they went with the Panthers, and Panthers wanted the ability to have the 5th-year option.
That's my one thing with the Bills. It's like, okay, like say you take Keon Coleman in the first, top and second. If he works out, you now don't have a 5th-year option.
But here is where the reports say. The reason they did it, it wasn't the 5th-year option choice. They wanted the 24 hours to try and get to negotiate with the 49ers. That was the report, is that they were the ones in line to try and get to get Ayuk. Like, they're the ones who have been trying to get Ayuk, and they wanted the 24 hours, and because they didn't, then they drafted. So look, you'd rather that than, oh, we draft someone at here, and then we aren't able to grab, I understand that because they wanted the 24 hours to try and trade with the 49ers to get Ayuk or Samuel, whichever one I don't know who they were getting, but that was the report. Was the reason that they drafted out was because Carolina wanted to come up and they wanted to get and they wanted to get the receiver that the Bills weren't interested in, and they wanted the 5th-year option, and the Bills were like, look, we want time. We don't have 10 minutes. We need 24 hours. So that's it makes sense. I understand that then that I'm not going to criticize them too much for that, because yeah, it makes sense. If you wanted the time to try and make the trade with the 49ers, now it obviously didn't pan out, but you still got the guy you wanted, and instead you were able to make a more effective decision. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but that was it for the first round of the draft. And we talked about some of the draft classes. I mean, pretty standard first round minus the Penix thing. Other than that,
I think the shock from this one was there weren't the trades.
Like, yeah, no player trades. No player trades in the middle of this draft.
Well, yeah, no player trades. But there weren't this was oh my God, the top 10. You are going to see trades galore. Like, people were thinking there are going to be 5 top 10 trades. Like, there was that conversation. I think that was the big shock, that there just weren't at all. Like, there were some trades, but not in the first round. They were in the second, when suddenly a lot of these players fell and they went, oh shit, we can go get them. And I think that's where we're coming. Like, I think first round is starting to get a little too overvalued for a lot of GMs. They're like, I can get some of these players in the second round that I like, and they're falling. And teams are willing to.
And they're cheaper in the second round.
But that's what I mean. Like teams are willing to go to, hey, I'll trade you, like the Eagles traded from 53 to 40, and it didn't really cost them anything. Whereas can you imagine going from 22 to 6?
Yeah.
It cost you half the next decade. Like, so I think that's kind of the mindset now, is the jumps in the first round just aren't worth it for a lot of teams. It's like, given how much they have to give up to go up, it's just like the third player compared to the first. I don't know how big of a jump it is for a lot of teams at this point.
That's going to bring us to the end of our show. Jacob, where will we find you?
You guys can find me pretty much everywhere at Jacob London. Every Sunday, I do the bracket show with Mara, Adam, and Marisol, and of course Taylor. And so we do that at 6 p.m. Pacific time every Sunday night, and it's awesome.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at ChanceWars_91. And yeah, it's going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.